Please know that you are at the right place, at the right time, engaged in exactly the right activity. There is no surprise. There's no coincidence that you're here. So welcome, welcome. I'm Reverend Karen Lewis. I'm the senior minister here, and together with Reverend Leslie Goodwin and Reverend Karen Russo and Reverend Laurie Frisbee and Reverend Jeff Hargis, we are the team. We're going to milk that for another couple months, right? So for those of you who don't know, Reverend Jeff just became a reverend last week, so yes. Lots to celebrate, lots to celebrate. So we are the New Vision Center. We have introduced ourselves to you with our vision and mission statement, and it's so important to me that everyone knows that is not just an empty slogan for us. When we say we teach spiritual living and we live spiritual teaching, we strive to let the life force that is the New Vision Center speak loudly through those activities. Today, we are going to be in this conversation to let your life speak. And as I shared last week, that is an old Quaker saying. And in the beginning, when I came across this, I thought this meant let my life reflect the highest values that I hold dear. And why that is so, more and more I come to understand that it really is an invitation for me and for each one of us to quiet down, to listen, even and especially with so much happening in the world, to take time out and say, I am going to listen to what that life force in me is calling me to do, is calling me to step into, is calling me to be in the world. And the New Vision Center has been for many of us, I know for sure it has for me, been a place where I feel so loved, so welcomed, so encouraged to be the very best I can be. And that is the offer that is here for you, for each one of you, to be the very, very best you can be in the world. And when you lose confidence that you can really achieve that big goal that you have set for yourself, I hope that the tools, that the connections that you have made here give you that confidence, because the world needs you. The world needs us. And so today we are going to explore the saying, let your lives preach, which was the original verbiage there in the 1600s. Let your life preach, let your light shine, that your works may be seen. And so we are invited to turn to the truth within us. Because the danger, you see, is that we fall prey to somebody else's idea about our lives. Has that ever happened to you? Oh, yeah? Somebody else has an idea who you should be, what you should do, how you should show up. No. It doesn't say, let somebody else tell you how your life should speak. It says, let your life speak. And so we turn within. And I invite us to do that right now. For a talk about listening has to include space to listen. Because you see, you're not here to listen to me, although I hope that something I say inspires you to continue to look for what is yours. You are here to listen to yourself. Because the wisdom, the love, the peace, the deep knowingness that is within you, only you can hear. So I invite us all to allow our eyes to close. Take a breath. Those who are on the outskirts in the last rows, you are included in this. Those who are watching online, you are included, you are welcomed, you are invited to lay down the cup of coffee or the paper or whatever else has your attention. And for a moment, let us listen. Let us feel the blessing of this moment. Nothing more important than connecting to the self. As thoughts come, allow them to pass on just like clouds on the sky. Relating to this pure part within us that we call the self with a capital S is the invitation. This stillness. It's a drinking from the refreshing living waters. And so taking another deep breath, allowing yourself to come back into the space where you are, here in the sanctuary at home. Notice this sense of refreshment, of peace, of calm. Cultivate this path. Today, I would like to offer 3 guideposts on this path to really listen and to allowing our life to speak through us. And the first one is really vulnerability. Notice if it was challenging for you to allow yourself to close your eyes. Not trying to find fault with anything, just noticing, can I hold the energy of myself? Because only if we are able to hold that space fully can we hope to hold other people in that space. You see, it all starts within. And it requires vulnerability. And make no mistake, it takes a lot of strength to be able to open our hearts, our minds, to another, to the world, to our life. Because what are we so fast to say? Oh, I already know that. Something new wanting to bubble up within. Oh, I already know that. Worst 4 words or 5 words to say. I already know that 4. Okay, I already know that. Yeah. To be willing to say, okay, I am going to just listen. And when I hear something new, something I didn't expect, I am willing to follow it up. I'm willing to lean into it. Vulnerability. The wonderful poet David White says this about vulnerability. Vulnerability is not a weakness, a passing into position, or something we can arrange to do without. And let's be honest, how often did we try to be without vulnerability? Can I just arrange things a little differently so I don't have to feel like I'm naked in front of the world with my heart on my hands? I know I have. But he says, we can't arrange to do without. Vulnerability is not a choice. Vulnerability is the underlying, ever-present, and abiding undercurrent of our natural state. Yeah. So let's breathe into that. If it is, if we believe that vulnerability, opening ourselves up to life, is the way to go, we might as well stop fighting it. We might as well let the world see what is important to us. Even if it comes with tears. So vulnerability is really the first point. And then the second point I would like to offer is integration. Integration of all of our shiny parts, you know, the parts that we show on Facebook. Ta-da! I'm all good, life is good. Ta-da! Which, yes, that is a part of our life. And there's also the other part. Last night I struggled. Or I spent another evening alone. Or whatever it might be that we don't want the world to see. So the invitation of integration is really to welcome all of our shiny and not so shiny parts in and introduce our joy to our grief. Introduce our generosity to our greed. Introduce those parts we love about ourselves to those parts we rather not admit to. Because you see, the goal is not perfection. The goal is wholeness. And wholeness includes everything and everyone. And so we give ourselves to this idea to find out everything about ourselves. That is really what a spiritual path is about. Am I willing to look at everything? Socrates said it so beautifully: the unexamined life is not worth living. The unexamined life is not worth living. That means we examine not just the good parts about us, but also our humanity, those places where we fall short. So that we can bring our entire being, our wholeness, to this great big invitation to live the best life we came here to live. So we talked about vulnerability, integration. And my third point is really hospitality. Hospitality. For when we are done, including all of our parts, it is time to open us up and include everyone. To welcome everyone, regardless of if they speak with a funny accent, if they live life very differently than you would choose, if they love very differently than you would choose. Include everyone in your heart. And I love, love, love this poem that is at the very beginning of the Science of Mind textbook. If we would only live this poem fully, we could skip reading the rest. Now that is what I said. It's not what Reverend Leslie says. I want to read this poem. It is called Peace Be Unto Thee, Stranger. Peace be unto thee, stranger, enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There's room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine is here also, it sparkles in the light. I have set the chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome. Those words by Dr. Ernest Holmes, they speak not just of opening our homes, but it speaks of opening our hearts. Clearing ourselves out of any wounds or any judgments that we have so that we can open up and invite the world into our heart space. That we can feel and live from that place of oneness. Hospitality. Trusting that what I have to offer is needed, is wanted, is welcome. And so when I see a need somewhere, when I feel called to give my gift, I know that I am divinely supplied. Because the desire wouldn't be placed on my heart had I not been given also the characteristics to fulfill it. And so as we are mothers, ministers, accountants, retirees, lovers, whatever we are, let us remember that we have already been given the gift. We are filled up with it. It is the light that is at the very center of our being, and nothing can ever diminish that. It is the light that we are. Amanda Gorman says it so beautifully. There's always light, if only we are brave. If only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. So when you feel in yourself that desire to do something great in the world, when it rises up within you, I so hope that you remember these tools that can help bringing it all together and doing what you're called to do. We all have been given this gift called life. Let us do the absolute best with it. And I'm going to close with this reading from Diana Ackerman. And we have a beautiful slide of a horse, if we could have that on. And I'm going to try to get out of the way. And you can allow your eyes to close, or you can look at this beautiful horse. She says this: the great affair, the love affair with life, is to live as voraciously as possible, to groom one's curiosity like a high-spirit thoroughbred, climb aboard and gallop over the thick, sun-struck hills every day. Where there is no risk, the emotional terrain is flat and unyielding. And despite all its dimensions, valleys, pinnacles, and detours, life will seem to have none of its magnificent geography, only a length. It began in mystery, and it will end in mystery. But what beautiful country lies in between? I am so grateful we are traveling this part of the journey together. I'm so grateful you are willing to lean into vulnerability. You're willing to call back from all corners of the world all your parts to show up in wholeness. And I'm grateful you're opening your hearts to this teaching, to this thing called life. Thank you. And so I invite us to anchor this in prayer. I invite you to bring to your mind that which you want to bring forth, that which you want to engage in a more deeper way. Allowing stillness to take a hold of us. We turn to the deep knowingness that there is only one. There's only one power, one presence, that the divine is supreme. There's only one life, that life is God's life, and that life is our life now. And so we claim it. We claim harmony and peace and wisdom and joy to be our guiding posts, our experience. As we recognize that we are the divine made manifest, we realize that this is the truth of us as it is the truth of every being everywhere. If they know about this or not, just like gravity works for everyone, it is the same truth. God and I are one eternally. And so it is from this deep place of knowingness that we speak a special word of blessing on the world. Our own close surrounding, our city, our country, our world. it is with such great gratitude, with knowingness that all is truly well. God is I am, we are. We just place this word and whatever is on our hearts into that universal law. We offer it up at the high altar of love, knowing it is done, it is complete, and feeling that gratitude. We can simply complete by saying, and so it is. Amen.